Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not.
Yeah, right.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan.
Oh my God. That's unbelievable. And the bleep is about to hit the fan. So what is this really about right now? Why is Joe Biden doing this right now? Why is Anthony Fauci upping the game right now? And the answer is because this failure in Afghanistan is truly horrifying. So Adam Schiff, you never expect to hear a true thing out of Adam Schiff, who, again, has a pup tent. It is placed right outside of the MSNBC green room. He spent 4 years lying about how there was going to be inevitable evidence that Donald Trump was a Russian cat's paw. He was a Ruski, right? You remember this? Okay, but Adam Schiff, who can always be counted on to back whatever is the Democratic talking point of the moment, he did not when it came to Afghanistan yesterday. It was very unfortunate for the Biden administration. According to The Hill, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff said it was very unlikely the U.S. will complete its evacuation of Afghanistan by the August 31st deadline. He said, quote, "I think it's possible, but I think it's very unlikely given the number of Americans who still need to be evacuated. It's hard for me to imagine that all of that can be accomplished between now and the end of the month. I'm encouraged to see the numbers of people evacuating increasing readily to the point where we evacuated 11,000 people in a single day. Nonetheless, given the logistical difficulties of moving people to the airport and the limited number of workarounds, it's hard for me to see that could be fully complete by the end of the month." He said, "I'm certainly of the view we maintain a military presence for as long as is necessary to get all U.S. persons out and to meet our moral and ethical obligations to our Afghan partners." So Schiff admitted that there are people who are stranded. He admitted that getting people out by August 31st is unlikely. He said he is concerned about the security of the airport. He said, "I think the threat to the airport is very real and very substantial." And he says this makes an attractive target for ISIS. It does. It is one runway, and the gates are not properly guarded. And the people who stand between ISIS and the Americans are the Taliban. And finally, Schiff admitted that the intel community knew from the beginning that the Afghan government was likely to collapse if the United States pulled out, and the Taliban was likely to take over, which means that Joe Biden was just lying, that he was just lying. Intel committee member Jason Crow, another Democrat, said, "I do not believe at this point that I have any evidence of an intelligence failure." So then it's just Joe Biden's fault, which is why he has to distract. So Jen Psaki yesterday just gave an astonishing statement. She was asked by Peter Doocy about the Americans currently stranded in Kabul. Her answer was to play semantic games over whether they are actually stranded or not. I'm pretty sure that the Americans who are now being relegated to their apartments in Kabul and are deathly afraid of walking out the front door for fear they will be beaten by the Taliban and there's nobody coming to get them, they probably feel a little stranded, a little. By the way, every major news outlet in the United States has called them stranded because they are. Here's Jen Psaki denying it.
Does the president have a sense that most of the criticism is not of leaving Afghanistan, it's the way that he has ordered it to happen by pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded? Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home. We are in touch with them via phone, via text, via email, via any way that we can possibly reach Americans to get them home if they want to return home.
There are no Americans stranded is the White House's official position on what's happening in Afghanistan right now.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan when we have been very clear that we are not leaving Americans who want to return home.
Okay, no, now she's shifting the conversation, right? He's saying they are currently stranded. And she's like, they're not stranded. He's like, is that your position? And she's like, no, I'm just saying that we're going to go get them. Okay, it's like saying there were not men stranded on the beach of Dunkirk. Okay, they were, and then people went and got them. There are Americans currently stranded in Kabul. The question is, are you going to go out there and are you going to save them? Well, one of the questions that needs to be answered before you even get to that is how many Americans are there even in Kabul? Well, the good news is the American government has no damned idea. In fact, the American government is not even willing at this point to say how many Americans they've gotten out. They're giving you broad numbers as to how many people they've gotten out. A huge majority of those are Afghan nationals who worked with the United States, which is fine. But they are not willing to say how many Americans are among that group. Why? Well, there's only one reason for that in terms of public relations. The only reason for that is because the number is kind of low. Here is Major General Hank Taylor admitting he doesn't know how many Americans have even left.
You'd mentioned that 42,000 have been evacuated since July. Is that 42,000 just on military airlift, or does that include the commercial and chartered planes?
Yeah, so that That total number is U.S. military plus U.S. Civilian State Department. Some of that was State Department contract there that went out also early on.
Do you have any breakdown of the number of U.S. citizens in that 42,000 that have gotten out?
I do, but I don't have that right now.
Well, they don't have that. And then John Kirby of the Pentagon said the same thing. He's asked how many Americans have actually been evacuated. Well, we don't know. Or we're not going to tell you. Whoop-de-doo.
That's the most important number here, the number of Americans. So if it's just a matter of checking the number, can you do that and give it to us? Or if you're being deliberately vague, tell me why you're being deliberately vague.
I think I'm just going to leave it at several thousand right now, Dave.
Well, then tell us why.
Because I think the number is very fluid, and it literally changes nearly by the hour.
It's not more fluid than these 11,000, 37,000.
I'm going to leave it at several thousand right now.
Oh my God. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. And that is from the spokesperson for the Pentagon. So things must be going great. If they won't even tell you how many Americans they've actually gotten out at this point, things must be going just spectacularly. Meanwhile, the Taliban has set a red line. The Taliban has said openly that if you stay beyond August 31st, then bleep gets real. Here's a Taliban spokesperson saying this yesterday to Sky News.
If the US or the UK wanted to extend the 31st of August deadline in order to continue evacuations out of the country, would you agree to that?
No.
Why not?
This is something you can say it's a red line. While there is no need for that, I think it will deteriorate the relation, that will create mistrust between us. If they are intent on continuing the occupation, so it will provoke a reaction.
And the bleep is about to hit the fan because we're not getting everybody out by August 31st, and the Taliban have said that's the deadline. So, what is Joe Biden willing to risk here to get Americans out? We're about to find out in very short order. The military says he has 1 week to decide to extend the deadline, and that's it. And past that, they don't know what they can do. I know what you're thinking. It's time to binge some more Ben Shapiro videos. Well, you are right. You should. But first, like and subscribe. Perfect. I'll see you in the next video.